Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
So, you're probably wondering what shirtless and sexy Zac Efron has to do with young Daniel Eugene Rudy Rudiger. In order to fully answer this question, we must grasp an understanding of what is known as hegemonic masculinity. Hegemonic masculinity connotes the dominance of one group over another, wherein domination is seen as common sense and resistance is seen as ridiculous. A core aspect of this form of masculinity is that it suggests a hierarchical structure and thus a constant struggle for dominance among the subordinate.
Cue Synthesized Masculinity, a strategic process in which marginalized men use alternative forms of masculinity to access resources they perceive to be lacking. Their goal? To compensate for various types of subordination, such as those based on their race or class, and in turn acquire social status.
Scholars Rios and Sarabia familiarize us with this concept of synthesized masculinity through their study of gang-associated teenage boys living in a working-class Latino neighborhood located in a majority middle-class white town. These boys displayed deviant behavior such as chest-bumping police officers, attempting to block police from taking pictures, and protesting their potential arrest as a response to the mistreatment they experienced by police officers.
Such behavior represented a symbolic claim that they would not be controlled and harassed without a fight. In this sense, the synthesized masculinity used by the Latino boys functioned as a coping mechanism to alleviate forms of social subordination based on their race and class. These boys were defying authoritarian challenges to their masculinity in order to gain dignity and respect, status, and esteem. As you can see, the synthesized masculinities that they adopted stressed characteristics such as toughness, dominance, and a willingness to resort to violence.
So, how does synthesized masculinity apply to our own lives? To find out, we can ask ourselves this question. How do male college students exemplify synthesized masculinity, specifically within the context of fraternity and athletics, in order to compensate for various forms of subordination?
We argue that, within the college environment, young males adopt different types of synthesized masculinity in order to compensate for various forms of marginalization. In the context of fraternities, students of lower status, typically pledges, display a high willingness to engage in sexual activity and alcohol consumption in an effort to climb the social ladder. Similarly, in collegiate athletics, subordinate athletes such as non-starters and minorities develop synthesized masculinities such as hypermasculinity as an alternate way to prove their manhood.
Of course. Yeah, we actually got a party on Saturday.
This is Phi Sigma Mu. We're gentlemen.
I'm excited you're here. Because these are some of the best dudes I've ever known.
You're gonna be Phi Sig. We're gonna do stuff with our lives.
Bro, they're not gonna let you in here just because you're my brother. You need to let them know you want to be here. Hello?
Get your ugly goat ass to the house in 11 minutes or you're dead.
In this promo for the movie Goat, synthesized masculinity is manifested through the fraternity pledging process. The pledges must prove their worth to the brothers by enduring a series of torturing and humiliating events known as hazing, in order to usher themselves into manhood.
In the scene from The Blind Side, Big Mike is clearly in a marginalized position. Not only did he come from a traumatic and impoverished background, but he was also at the time the only African-American football player to play at this predominantly white Christian school in Memphis, Tennessee. Thus, in order to prove his manhood and compensate for the subordination based on his so-called inferior race and class, Michael found another way. He displayed synthesized masculinity on the field by taking advantage of his size, strength, and impressive athleticism.
Where were you taking him, Mike? To the bus. It was time for him to go home. Attaboy, Michael Orr. Attaboy! Go get him! Go get him, Crusader!
And finally, we had the opportunity to interview John Bernisa, a sophomore on the Furman men's soccer team, who here has reinforced the concept of synthesized masculinity.
My name is John Christian Bernisa. I'm a sophomore at Furman University. I'm 20 years old. I play forward/center defender at Furman University. If you're not good at that particular day, you get less kudos. You don't get told you play well. You kind of get insulted in a couple ways whenever you don't play a ball perfectly, and I have lots of issues with that. I don't have the best touch on the team. But I work hard, and I get angry, and I play harder, I would say, whenever I have a really bad day with the touch-wise. But also, I am competing with others. I want to look bigger. I want to look more manly.
I don't give a damn.